It's illegal.
Yep. You might remember last August I walked up Bannockmore to have a look at the snow patches. I was with Ian Cameron, part of a member of a small but enthusiastic community which monitors the snow patches that survive all year round in Scotland. Well, 2014 could actually be a vintage year for them, so our producer Chris joined Ian for a walk up Scotland's most southerly Munro, Ben Lomond, to see what was left.
And there before us, wow, is a mass of snow from winter 2014. Difficult to see, the mist is obviously very thick, but you can see a big white expanse sloping away down to the Quarry floor. Difficult in terms of to get an idea of the depth here, but we're looking at significant depth, probably somewhere in the region of, I don't know, 15, 20 foot, 25 foot possibly. We'll hopefully get a better idea when we go around the corner.
So what are we going to do? We're going to head round there and see if we can get onto this patch.
Yeah, well, if we go around the corner here, there's a slight drop in, and we're able to peer over the side, and with a bit of luck we can set up the rope and get the ice axes out and go and have a proper look.
So we're out on Ben Lomond in May and a significant amount of snow. How unusual is this?
Oh, well, we've not seen the likes of this now in May for quite a number of years. I've been up here quite a few times over the course of the last 20 years or so, and I've never seen it like this before in May. I guess the last time we had volumes approaching this level in May would be 1994, I guess, and that was the year really of the last very, very big snow.
And what is it? What conditions give us big snow patches? Because you can have conditions that give you lots and lots of snow, but it might not last.
Wind and direction of wind. If you look at the direction which the snow blew in this year, it came almost predominantly from west, southwest and south. And that is very, very good for longevity of snow patches, because what happens is all the snow is blown in, blows over the edges of cliffs on mountains, and they tend to gather in the northeast facing corries. Northeast facing corries is where snow generally lasts longest in Scotland. And over winter, obviously it doesn't melt, more snow is added, the process continues, and from about this year, or this winter, from mid-December till really the end of February, it was Atlantic storm after Atlantic storm, and we saw huge accumulations.
So you've got some common spots, say up in the Cairngorms, Ben Nevis, Bannockmore, Bannockbeg around there where you get snow patches. This is quite unusual. What other unusual spots have you been to in Scotland this year which have got snow patches lasting into May?
Well, a couple of days ago I was in the Borders, and I was on Hartfell. I was in Broadlaw a couple of weeks ago as well, and they were holding significant patches of snow as well. Broadlaw, we had a patch, and that was getting on for 600 metres right along the crest of the Quarry. Someone visited that again a few days ago, still there, still in the region of 200 metres long. Very, very unusual.
Well, I've actually got a snow shovel with me, and I've got a sense of humour, so shall we just dig a bit and see how far down we get?
Let's go for it, yeah.
Okay. What are the things you do in this job? Okay. I don't think we're going to bottom this one out, Ian.
No, I think we might be here a while. I think if we had a small army of diggers, I don't think we'd be able to do it either. It's much too deep.
There's some quite unusual features just down on our left here on the steeper snow, which I fancy taking a look at. So if we just grab the axes and maybe traverse down there. Fantastic bum sliding snow this would be.
It would be great, wouldn't it?
Be at the bottom of the Quarry in no time. Well, we've come down into the Quarry and we're just at the lip of this snowfield with some sort of craggy ground above us. And the feature that we're standing in at the moment reminds me of like an alpine bergschrund.
It is, in all but name, that's essentially what it is. The feature is quite prevalent in Scotland, even as late as August. Whenever I go to Ben Nevis in August in Observatory Gully, there's huge bergschrund form in the region of 8 to 10 metres.
And just over Easter, I was going over Stubinian and Benmore, and coming down the northeast ridge of Benmore, I almost stumbled into, for all the world, looked like a crevasse. I had to keep reminding myself I wasn't in a glaciated environment. I mean, the crevasses open up when you get these really, really deep snow patches.
Crevasses are, they're traditionally known as a glacial feature, and again, you might not call them a crevasse in Scotland, but they have all the characteristics of a crevasse. Things start to melt, things start to move. You know, you can get these huge openings appearing, and although they might not be called crevasses, I certainly wouldn't like to fall down one. You know, they're a pretty unpleasant place to be.
And you were saying that you haven't seen this depth of snow, these amount of snow patches since 1994, 20 years ago. But how significant, say, in terms of the last 100 years or so, is this winter?
There have been bigger ones. Some of the names that spring to mind, 94 is obviously one. 93 was also a good year. But before that, 1983 was a good year. 1979 was a good year. 1967 was a monster of a year for snowpatch survival. But the biggest of all was probably 1951. The survivals were extraordinary. But, you know, this year, 2014, it's certainly significant, very significant, and I would not expect to see too many more like this. And in fact, just as we're talking here, we're starting to get more of a sense. The clouds just lifting a little bit, the greyness is dissipating, and we can see the extent of the snow, which really encompasses the whole northeast Quarry. You can see that in the distance now, and we're seeing down to the Quarry floor. We're looking down there now. The snow patch is still at less than 2,000 foot altitude, I would say. You know, for May, pretty significant.
Snow patch enthusiast Ian Cameron. Ian's always keen to hear from folk who spot snow patches on their walks in the hills. You can contact him on Twitter or post to the forum on the Winter Highland website. You'll find the links on our site. Just go to bbc.co.uk/Radio Scotland and click on Out of Doors.
Oh, we've got some pictures of that very snow patch as well.
Indeed.
If you want to go there and look at snow.
Well, apparently he's got a sort of 4-rotor helicopter thing that takes a camera. Now we're talking. Takes a camera up and what have you. And a mate of mine's got one of those. His has got 5 rotors.
Really?
It's a big commercial job. But apparently you need a licence from the CAA to actually fly these things because they're capable of such altitude.
Really?
Yeah.
How hard can it be for a man who's crashed every helicopter he's ever had?